Welcome back to another week here at the Whiskey Gingers podcast. I may have jumped the gun, but we'll see. Did it not start yet?
No.
I swear that we'll never once get this on cue.
Well, the cue isn't up to me.
We need to get one of those director things,
Yeah.
the little cassette
It's just
thing.
how Brandon looks at me and is like, okay.
Well, it's like it happens all at once.
It's 0 to 100 really
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, we can't ease into this thing. Anyway, this week we took a trip up north to try Canadian whiskey, which we kind of asked each other, we're like, we've done something Canadian so far, right? But we haven't because we didn't want to subject ourselves to Seagram 7, which isn't a great whiskey. Although the one we have might not be either. We'll get into that in a second. But
Seagram's is great with a mixer.
yeah, it's not bad with
It's
7
cheap.
Up, not bad with ginger ale.
It's cheap, and if you're going to use it to mix, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, but not
I'm
straight
not
up.
sipping on Seagrams.
No, not that we went high class anyway, though. This one I believe was $11.75.
Yeah, so we got Windsor Canadian blended Canadian whiskey. That's a mouthful. And this
Imported
was
from Canada.
imported from Canada. So this was interesting because I went into the liquor store and I was looking for Canadian whiskeys. And in the local liquor store that we have over here, you have this big section of bourbon, big section of Irish whiskey and Scotch, and then you have yay big of Canadian whiskey.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be a huge selection. I'm sure it's more of a niche market. Maybe people that like it, they probably go a little bit above and beyond to try and find it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So our options were severely limited. So looking at the bottles, I kind of made a judgment call. I said, I'm not getting something if it's in a plastic bottle because I feel like it's not going to be that good then. That's budget stuff. So I did get a glass bottle.
And Crown Royal, that's probably the most famous Canadian
Yeah.
whiskey, but that's no fun because everybody.
I thought about that, and I'm
tastes.
like, that's not really that fun. So we got this one, the Windsor Canadian blended Canadian whiskey, and we're gonna give it a try. The weird caveat to this is
It's,
it was $11.02.
and it was distilled in Chicago.
No. It was the way that they read it on the back of the bottle. It says imported and bottled by the Windsor Distillery Company in Chicago. So I think
Okay.
it's imported and then bottled there,
Okay, so
but
distilled
it
in
is
Canada,
made in Canada.
bottled
It
in
is a
Chirac.
product of Canada. So we're gonna try this one out. This top makes it nice and easy for me. It's just a twist off.
That's never an awesome sign, though.
Yeah.
We're talking how good is this whiskey going to be is when it's a plastic.
I'm really
cap.
hoping to be pleasantly surprised. If you can find a good bottle of whiskey for $11, that's
I'm expecting to spit it on our producer,
that's pretty interesting.
but we shall see. The fact it was $11, it's I don't know. Well, usually, if you go to a bar, their well whiskey is usually at least more than $11.
It just something's off to me about it. I don't think it's gonna be particularly good.
What are you expecting? I don't know. It smells sweet.
It doesn't smell very strong.
It's 80 proof, so it's not bad.
I guess strength and whiskey smell usually has something to do with if it smells very oaky anyway, because it's that bourbon smell. I wouldn't say a Irish whiskey smells particularly strong.
No, that's
but they
true.
can be. But to your point, it does smell kind of sweet.
It does. That's
All right, suspense is killing me.
All
Let's
right.
give it a try.
cheers.
Cheers.
That's watery to me.
Yeah, it's not.
Not much.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like much.
No, it
kinda
tastes watery.
It kind of tastes like if you took the subtlest whiskey flavor and then you watered it down a lot.
Those are Mio pods.
Mm-hmm.
It's if they made a whiskey Mio pod.
And you just diluted the hell out of it. You put a whole bottle of water in there. You just stuck 2 or 3 drops in it.
It's pre-watered down. It's it was brewed for somebody who likes it on the rocks.
It's definitely. I thought, to your point, you were gonna want to spit it out.
It's not
It's not
objectionable.
like that.
It's not horrible, but it's one of those things where as soon as you taste, you go, "That's not great."
Yeah, it's just very mediocre, isn't it?
It is. It's $11 whiskey. You can tell the process that went into it. Only they could sell it for $11 and not lose anything.
If you're trying to get hammered, $11, you could do way worse with that. This is cheaper than a
And you
12-pack of beer.
Yeah.
And you get a heck of a lot more out of it than that.
I don't know. Bud Light's prices are falling pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wonder why.
You might be able to get them on the clearance section.
Maybe that's what happened to Windsor. Maybe they had an interesting spokesperson come on and it plummeted the prices.
No, this tastes like it. Well, so does Bud Light, though. I mean, they both taste like their price point, if we're being honest.
That's fair.
This is like, I would equate this to this is the Natty Light of whiskeys.
That's fair.
It's not great, but if it's there, you'll still drink it.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably, honestly, this works really well as, again, another mixer.
Yeah.
If you put some ginger ale or 7-Up or Coke in this,
It would add some flavor.
Yeah, it doesn't make much of a difference. You're probably still, even if you do mix this with something, going to taste whatever the mixer is.
That's the thing. I wish we had any kind of a following in Canada, because I'm very interested to see where this sits for them, because we don't have a great Canadian whiskey selection at Fine Wine, so it's skewed.
I think it was this and like 4 other options. And
Seagrams.
2 of those were Seagrams and Crown. So there was one other whiskey that was in a glass bottle and looked like it kind of could be okay. So I just, at the toss of a hat, picked this one rather than anything else.
So that's the thing. Like, even though none of these I would consider to be good whiskey in like the U.S. or like Ireland or Scotland, if there's so few options in Canada. Is this good whiskey? Grail? Yeah, like to them it's like, oh, you brought a bottle of Windsor to the party. If I had to,
you're a high roller over there.
If I had to guess, this is more like maybe in like an Ezra Brooks kind of.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like if we're just comparing them to America, I feel like Jack and Seagram's kind of line up together quality wise. I don't know. Crown Royal's different though, because it's a whiskey in name, but everybody drinks Crown for the flavors.
This goes down a lot smoother than like a cheap bourbon, though.
It does.
Or like what I mean, like cheap American whiskey. This goes down way better than that because like I said, if you're looking for a budget whiskey, this could be it in some way. It's not. You're not really going to get a lot out of it. I don't think the flavor is really there, but
I'm trying to remember what it is. There's a really cheap American whiskey that one of our college bars used to do for the well, and it was absolutely horrendous. But I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. It was 4 something, I thought, I looked up cheapest whiskey in America.
There's 4 Roses, but that's not that cheap.
No, that's gonna really annoy me.
And that's also not a bad whiskey. That's pretty good.
No, this was bad. I remember drinking it and going, wow, this is horrible. And I told somebody what it was. And they were like, dude, don't go to that bar again. But I can't for the life of me find it. Here, fill the air for a second.
Would Ethan know it?
What?
If I texted Ethan, would he
Yes,
know
he actually would definitely know. I was with him when we did it.
What was it, Box?
No, it was the Hody, which means nothing to anybody listening, but it's one of the last great dive bars in this fine country, where you can still have a dart inside and get a whiskey and a beer for $4. Oh,
that's funny. This says supremely smooth waters born in Canada. Whiskey made with the clear clean Rockies. It looks like clean, but it's clear clean.
Clear clean? Okay.
Yeah, clear clean Rockies. Very interesting. I don't know. I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
for $11, I really can't be that mad about it. But
for $11, I would get it if I was just trying to get somewhere in a hurry. But I wouldn't ever bring this to somebody. It's like to somebody's place. I'm like, oh hey, I got you a bottle of this. Like it just seems, I don't know.
Well, speaking of Canada's latest and greatest and overall things they're known for, should we discuss the whole oddity of Canadian bacon?
Yes. So floppy bacon.
You mean ham?
Yeah, but it's not quite like pork roll either. It's not.
I wouldn't consider pork roll ham either. I know that that's really what it is, but like ham and pork roll don't look or taste the same. Like they kind of look a little
pork
bit
roll's
like,
a lot more like,
but it totally tastes different.
Like
I think it probably has something to do with how it's like prepared and aged. I have no idea. But point being,
I think it's cured ham.
Yeah, I just think that Canadian bacon is weird, and the only thing that it really belongs on is like eggs Benedict with a English muffin and hollandaise sauce,
Hey, you could kind of get it. You know, it wouldn't be that bad. Oh man, I was looking up worst American whiskeys, and Sheepdog is on there. That's a bummer.
We kind of expected that one though, didn't we?
Yeah, I know. But I didn't think it was one of the worst in the country. But yeah, Canadian bacon, not great. I don't know about you. Whenever we would get like bacon in like elementary school or whatever, when they did like the French toast sticks for lunch, 100 times out of 100 times it was Canadian bacon.
Was it really? I don't know. I don't think my school could afford any bacon.
It was the biggest catfish ever. It was public. I was like a public middle school. I mean, it wasn't anything like swanky or anything, but it was just really annoying.
I think we definitely got like French toast sticks.
They tried to be the ones from Burger King, and they
Yeah.
could never replicate it. They
Yeah.
were always either rock hard or mush.
What was your favorite go-to like quick breakfast? Like they had all those. It's all processed and it's so horrible for you. So I'll rattle off like a couple things so you understand the kind of premise I'm going. I'm sure you already do.
Yeah.
You have like the at-home French toast sticks, like an Eggo waffle,
Eggo. You can stop.
toaster
We're good.
strudels. You know,
It starts and stops. with
Eggo
the Eggo
waffle right
waffles.
there.
It's the only thing that tastes as close to the way it's supposed to.
So how did you prepare your Eggo waffles in the morning?
So,
Because I have an interesting way to do it, so I'll let you go first.
So growing up, it was always in the toaster.
Okay.
And then when I went to college, my roommate started putting them on like on the stove, like
Really?
in a saute
Okay.
pan. And you want to talk about a really satisfying crunch?
Yeah, because fries the shit out of it, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but the inside still gets warm. But like you get a good Belgian waffle, you like crack through it.
Yeah.
You get that every time. It's
Mm.
you look.
Wow.
I don't do it at Nick's company because it looks really weird. But like privately at home, it's delicious.
I think mine's worse than yours, actually. So
Really?
I don't know.
Don't
how,
tell me the microwave.
Well, I don't know how I figured this out, right? But I would cook waffles, the Eggo waffles, in the toaster, like the physical push-down toaster, right? And then I would take it out of the toaster,
Mhm.
put it on a plate. I would keep in mind, it's fully hot, fully cooked at this point. I
Okay,
would put butter on it,
Yep.
and then a little bit of syrup,
I'm with you so far.
and then I would stick it in the microwave for 10 seconds.
Why? You just undid everything.
And for whatever reason, I want it when you cook it in the toaster, it's great. But I kind of wanted, and I don't know if this was just me being weird as a kid. I almost wanted a pancake texture. So
Then
like I
make a
didn't want it to.
pancake.
I didn't want it to be crunchy. I wanted it to be like a little bit
Oh,
soft. So by cooking it in the toaster oven, you get like the good crisp cook, and then you stick it in the microwave for like 10 seconds. You still get a crispy outside ring, and then the whole inside is just caked in delicious butter and
Oh.
syrup. And the syrup gets a little bit warm. It's really good.
Is this like a plain waffle?
Yeah, just like an Eggo
a
waffle.
Plain Eggo waffle.
A frozen waffle.
yeah, it doesn't matter though. The texture's still so
Yeah,
important.
that's really interesting. The cinnamon ones were my favorite.
Okay, I could get behind
Didn't
that.
Eggo
You
also
would
make
rip apart
French
the squares.
toast?
Yeah, they made French toast.
Like that you
They-
could stick down
They
in
do
the toaster
pancakes
oven?
now too. They don't
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
don't
I recommend
recommend
that
it?
either.
No, the Eggo pancakes.
I'm just asking what you were saying.
Eggo pancakes? Ew.
Yeah, they make.
I really
I
like-
think Eggo waffles are the bomb. but-
Well, welcome to the conversation.
Sorry. I was doing research for you. You want to know what your whiskey that you drank at college was called?
Yes.
Windsor.
No.
That's what Ethan just said.
He's
Yeah.
wrong. It wasn't Windsor. It was
It's like the cheap whiskey I used to shoot. I'm like, yeah.
No, it was American.
Oh,
We
maybe-
asked the wrong guy because he drinks too many whiskeys to keep him straight, but it's not
I was
Windsor.
gonna say maybe you guys had too many whiskeys. You don't remember which
He
one
said,
it was.
it was, yeah, it's Windsor, $10 a bottle online. Okay, maybe he is referring to their online, but yeah.
Yeah, because he was buying them. It
Okay,
wasn't.
but in college that could have been $10. It's $11 now. Inflation, hello.
I think
No,
it-
but he wouldn't know the price because we got it at the bar.
Mm.
This is the cheap whiskey he buys to shoot. I'm talking about like the cheap well whiskey that these like Hicktown bars would have.
Okay, I'll do some more research. But the fact that he said Windsor, I was like,
Well,
cool.
the bar in
he's
Phoenix,
not wrong. It is a cheap whiskey.
yeah.
the TBD bar in Phoenixville uses the same well whiskey. I just don't remember the name.
It's Windsor.
It's not. It's really gonna bother me.
That I might be able to look up.
They don't list that on the website.
What is your cheapest well
Yeah.
whiskey?
No,
That'd be a good way. They should, because that way you could determine if a bar is worth going to or not. Because if their cheapest well whiskey is really low, it probably means they have really good drink specials.
what do you think a well whiskey in the U.S. should be for an establishment you'd go to
I think that it's probably more often than not like a Jim Beam, honestly.
for well?
Yeah,
Not
I think
even
so.
like Seagram's?
No, I guess
No.
it could be, but I don't think it is. I feel like anytime I've asked for a whiskey ginger ale at a bar and I haven't specified,
Mhm.
especially in Phoenixville, by the way, but
Yeah.
their class is a little bit higher up, I guess. But anytime I've asked for a whiskey ginger ale without specifying, I tend to get Jim Beam. And I know it's Jim Beam because Jim Beam has such a specific flavor to it that
Yeah,
you can tell no matter what you put in there that Jim Beam is in that glass.
that's true.
Believe it or not, the top 8 well whiskeys recommended by bartenders is Old Granddad Bonded Bourbon, Old Overholt Rye Whiskey, Four Roses Yellow Label, Jim Beam Rye, Doors White Label Scotch, Rittenhouse Bottled and Bond Rye Whiskey, Wild Turkey 101, and Black Bottle Blended Scotch.
They're all a little bit more niche than I would have expected.
Yeah. The Jim Beam one makes sense, but
Yeah, I think the basement should be like in the U.S. The basement should be Jack.
yeah.
I don't like Jack, but
I think Jack is overpriced actually for what it is, though. That's the problem.
I mean, I would, and if I could put a law in place, it would be JMO, no matter what.
Yeah, well,
But that's not always the case.
JMO makes the best
It's
mixture.
not that expensive, though.
Yeah. I disagree with you there. You don't think Jameson is expensive?
I don't think it's that bad.
For a handle, it's like $50.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a lot. I could
guess
buy a
if you're-
handle of Seagrams for $20.
I guess if you're a bar, yeah.
If I'm
I mean,
mixing it, it's a little bit different.
I don't treat it like when I get it, it's just, it's like getting groceries. It's just like, I need this. I don't treat it like I'm treating myself to Jameson this time
I
around.
do.
Really?
I guess. I care
Not
a
that it
lot
happens
about what
too
I buy
often.
for whiskey,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm running low on a couple of things. I got to replenish the
the
stock.
Bushnell really took a hit. So did the knob.
Yeah, the writer's tears actually is almost gone too.
Good Lord. You've been sipping on this. We did not do all this during the podcast.
I know. I drink that pretty regularly. This one's pretty good
Wait,
too.
he drank that with Jeff, the
Toki? Suntory?
The Kilbeggan is really good too.
I noticed the Bastille's rather full.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna dump that down the toilet if I'm being completely honest. That you couldn't pay me enough to make that. I'd rather turn that into a Molotov cocktail. It would be more worth my money.
True. So, I know the one thing like we were talking about earlier is, before we run out of time, is what things like are undoubtedly Canadian. Like when you think of the U.S., you think of like, heavy people, burgers, fries, trucks, rednecks, like utterly American things.
Mm-hmm.
What are those things to you but Canadian?
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. Fair point.
Very Canadian.
For me, it's Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Hortons.
I have no affiliation at all.
Good.
I tried to get him to go to Tim Hortons when we were in Michigan, and he didn't want to go.
Great coffee and get yourself some Timbits, and you're having a real nice
What's
morning.
a Timbit?
It's what Munchkins should be. Like they're truly mini donuts.
I gotta
Munchkins
stop
are like
you
a
there.
separate thing.
I don't think I've ever had a munchkin and been like, this could be better. But I guess it could be.
Well, because they're made differently than donuts. Like you don't bite into a munchkin and go, "Oh, this is a donut." Timbits are literally just little spheres of like their most
So
popular.
they like
donuts.
softer.
Yes, it's like a cake donut kind of. So
Very
good.
interesting.
And their coffee's better than most Dunkins and like that kind of
That vibe.
grade of coffee. Yeah, it's really good.
Very interesting.
We don't have any here. You got to go up to like I guess Michigan or upstate New York or Canada.
I like that TikToker from Canada. I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
The one that doesn't like the shit talking about his boss.
No. The No Way one.
Oh yeah.
He like finds something online.
No way.
He's fucking funny. I think he's really funny.
Fuck's sake.
We'll tag him and then maybe he'll get us a bunch of views.
Or you can come on the podcast.
Yeah, or he can come on the podcast.
Same thing with the cast.
We'll teach him a bunch of things that he didn't know.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Same thing with the cast of Letterkenny. They're all welcome.
Oh gosh,
Especially
yes,
Katie.
please. Absolutely.
Katie, if you're out there, give us a follow.
God, they'll put us on the next season of Shoresy.
That would be awesome. Or Bonnie McMurray.
Yeah,
Bonnie
that's really funny.
McMurray. That show's so great.
What else do you think? So I'm gonna recycle back, like go back a couple steps for the breakfast thing, just because it was on my mind before, and if I don't talk about it, I might implode.
Okay.
I used to think that toaster strudels looked really appealing on the package and the commercials. Like I thought they were the coolest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was really disappointed when I started making toaster strudels, and I said, "This is way too much goddamn work." It's like You put it in, and then you gotta put the icing packet. You gotta get a pair of scissors and cut it open and squirt all that shit on there. It was too much. So then I was like, this is basically a Pop-Tart, but a little bit more glamorous. So you could just get a Pop-Tart.
It's better than a
instead.
Pop-Tart.
I guess arguably.
It is.
I will argue against that one.
And then that sets in, would you toast your Pop-Tarts? Because I think actually Pop-Tarts are, in many cases, supposed to be toasted, but most people don't toast them.
They absolutely are. And there's some flavors that are better
toasted.
Absolutely.
Brown sugar, cinnamon brown sugar ones, amazing toasted. They taste like ass when they're not.
I go the other way.
You think they're better cold?
Yeah, I toast the fruity ones. So like the strawberry filled, blueberry filled, like the sprinkles and stuff, toast.
Oh, I feel like anything that's like sugary and chocolatey, I would toast, but I wouldn't toast those. Like s'mores is great toasted.
I hate s'mores.
The cinnamon one is great toasted.
The cinnamon one's great both ways. I hate s'mores no matter how you slice it.
And then they started going way overboard. They had like triple, quadruple chocolate chunks.
Yeah,
like,
no,
they started going way overkill. It was like Oreo when Oreo decided they're going to do all the flavors in the world. And then they came out with mega stuff. Oreos where it's 3 or 4 Oreos worth of stuffing inside a tiny little thing of crust. To me, the original Oreo is arguably the best, although I do have a sweet spot in my heart for the double stuffed.
Yeah.
If you have like 4 of those, it's too much.
Yeah, anything after double stuff is too much. The originals are the best. If I don't have milk nearby, the thins are the best.
The thins?
If I have milk nearby, it's the regular because I'm dunking them in.
Do you like the golden ones, the vanilla ones?
No, they can kick rocks.
Oh, I like them. Those
this country was founded on classic Oreos.
Yeah.
Keep that communist vanilla Oreo shit out of my house.
That's fair. I don't know. I thought they were pretty good. I don't get behind the whole like birthday cake ones.
The red velvet ones kick rocks with that.
Yeah, that's a little interesting. I do like red velvet cake though.
Me too, but they're not the same thing. Same thing with Goldfish and Cheez-Its. They got too cute with like the Cheez-Its Snapped and like the rainbow Goldfish. Like just play the hits.
Yeah, but the rainbow Goldfish just tastes like the normal Goldfish, but
I think they're worse. It tastes like, I think because I can't see the cheese, I think they're less cheesy.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. Like I can't look at like the purple Goldfish and like see the cheese dust and go, okay, yeah.
We should do a study on this.
We should do a blind taste test. Like give us both like an orange one and like a green one, and then see if we can tell which one's cheesier. I guarantee you it's going to be the orange.
Well, our producer is very much hoping that we'll do a blind taste test on whiskey at some point.
We've had too many.
Yeah,
we'd have to pick 5. We couldn't run through the order again.
No,
be in the IR.
And I think at this point it would actually be really difficult because if we did a truly blind taste test, we're like,
many.
hey, pick 5 and just, make it work. There's no way that we'd remember. Unless it was like something like put Bastille in there. I'm going to know which one that one fucking has the heartbeat or sheepdog. We would know, what those are in a heartbeat. But
the index is too big now.
Yeah.
Like, there's too many options. And we've done a pretty good job of like, bourbons and Irish and Korean and Japanese and whatever. And like I wouldn't be able to differentiate them.
We're multicultural.
We are
here on the Whiskey and Gingers.
There's one thing. If you look at this podcast, this screams diversity.
We're solving all the world's problems, one glass of whiskey at a time.
Just 2 average white dudes and a microphone. Just like the rest of the internet, baby.
Yeah.
But I would argue for this in particular, we're probably the 2 most qualified people to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Why not?
Perfectly. If you just by view.
Yeah, by view. All of our 10 viewers per.
Yeah, speaking of which, you guys tell your friends or something. like we're getting bullied. It's the podcast community's laughing at us.
We'll make it work. We haven't really made it easy for ourselves considering we've taken a couple hiatuses and just,
And we chose a medium that's pretty much entirely international.
That's very true.
No one in our own country gives 2 shits about.
We'll figure it out. We'll make a lot of promises that we can't keep, just like politicians.
Yeah, to be fair, we did promise them a New Year's Eve special and then got too drunk to record it. Which, if there's an excuse for a whiskey podcast not to record something, that seems pretty genuine in my
That was a pretty good one.
We were supposed to do one last week, but
yeah, we were.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out.
That didn't work out.
We'll get it back.
And technically, we were supposed to do one. We're way off the beaten path because we were supposed to do one when I was in Michigan.
Yeah,
so we're like
3
weeks overdue.
So we might have to double up on one, but we'll see how the schedule works out.
We'll figure it out.
We do have a special guest lined up for our next episode, whenever that may be.
Oh, yeah?
I found yet another ginger.
Oh, gosh.
To hop on the podcast. who's much like yourself, has, I mean, you have your hat on, but
Yeah.
no, like, hair, not ginger, beard, gingery.
Yeah.
So, that'd be fun. We could do, like have you guys, like, switch spots. Just change the names. See if anybody notices.
That would be
Put
really
Chris
fun.
on one and Spencer on the other.
I'd like that. That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, I do a podcast with him every week, and he didn't tell me he liked whiskey until this week. And
Yeah, there you go.
I was mildly offended that we didn't invite him.
You guys now have something to look forward to. All 10 of you.
Our first guest was some kind of a social media following. No offense to Ethan, Jeff, and Mike, but you guys didn't really take us to the promised land.
Damn it, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get Jeff back on at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, did you have any other things you want to touch on
I'm
tonight?
trying to think what else is.
You wanted to talk about fifth tax.
Yeah, we couldn't find any
the thing is,
research
we don't
on
really
it.
know anything about it. I mean,
Conspiracy.
it might actually be a conspiracy, but
It's not. It's an actual thing. It's just we might not have the right name for it.
all right.
We
So
definitely don't have the right name for it. I think it's that tourism tax. That when you go to places, where was your buddy when you?
I don't know.
Let's just say he was in Niagara, like right on the other side.
Yeah.
Of Toronto.
He's not a witness protection. Let's just say.
No, I think
Was he in a black
I
site?
think he was in Toronto.
I can't tell you exactly where he was, but
He was in an
it rhymed
undisclosed
with this.
location north of the
Yeah.
border.
No, I
In
do
case the
think-
mountains
safe
are after
house.
us.
I think he was in Toronto.
That would make sense. So I haven't been to Canada in probably 4 years now, but when you're in Toronto and Niagara and you get your bill, you get hit with the local tax, the alcohol tax, and the tourism tax, which are all around 6%.
goddamn
So,
communists.
yes, taxation is theft.
Eh.
Shout out to the IRS. They said to send them $1,200 last week. Hope you boys are happy.
Well, did you guys realize that there was like a thing that came out? I think this is actually more funny than maybe not funny, but more relevant than the Biff tax. Is that
That's definitely not the name.
when we
It's
were
the guy in Death of a Salesman, isn't it? Biff Tannen?
maybe
I believe so.
when we were doing our taxes this year, I kind of realized, did a little bit of research into it, that
Allegedly.
all of the COVID stuff that went down
Mhm.
and people were getting paid all this money. I'm sitting there to myself during the time. I'm like, there's no way that this shit like just is free. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing's free. Nothing works like that. So I'm sitting there like, we're going to wind up paying for this at some point. So they actually started implementing a tax thing where now basically they gifted more money into your paycheck each time by standard now in the
Mhm.
taxation program. And you need to either claim more dependents to not have that happen so that you don't owe more, or you wind up owing more money at the end of the year. They basically removed the opportunity to get a tax credit at the end of the year unless you like really manipulate your taxes well. And it's just very
Which
odd
nobody
for like
would
the
ever
average person. Yeah, it's like the average person isn't sitting there like doing all this tax manipulation, and instead now everybody's going to owe money instead of gaining money. So it's kind of a racket. It pisses me off because I knew it was coming and I just didn't know how it was going to happen.
I'm telling you what, next year I'm filing as if I have 3 kids. This is getting
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, you have to save the money if you do, because you'll still owe it at the end of the year, but at least you'll collect more so you can put it aside.
Yeah.
That's like the whole premise behind claiming more dependents. I knew somebody that like claimed 20 dependents or something ridiculous, and they invested
Allegedly.
the money, and then they took their investments and skimmed
Mhm.
money off the top of the investments
Allegedly.
to pay their.
What if the
taxes.
Alphabet Boys are watching this?
That's not illegal. As long as you pay your taxes at the end of the year, it's totally fine.
I don't know. None of that sounds super legal, dude.
It is. You can claim as many dependents as you want. You'll still owe money at the end of
Yeah.
the year, and you have to make sure that you pay it, because ultimately what happens when you claim more dependents is Uncle Sam skims off less of your paycheck.
Mhm.
So you get more money, but then they're going to come a knocking at the end of the year and say, hey, we didn't take all this money from you, so you have to pay it. So in theory, if you were to take more money out of your own money in your paycheck and you would invest that money,
Yeah.
you can skim off those investments and pay whatever Uncle Sam wants at the end of the year, and it is worth it. I don't know
I
that
think
much
Uncle
enough
Sam
about
should get
this.
a job.
I don't know enough about this for me to actually try something as risky as that. I'll stick to paying my little bit of money at the end of the year, but some people are better than this.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the Wesley Snipes route next year.
I just have them take my money
Yeah.
out of my paychecks and then they give me money.
Oh yeah.
at the end of the year.
They're supposed to do that, except for a
They don't anymore.
three-letter company whom I used to be employed by, who neglected to take any taxes out of my paycheck.
Do you want to know the real racket here? When we moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, they have this really nifty thing in Pennsylvania called a local tax.
Yeah.
Which you have to file separately as if it's a secret fucking service
Yep.
thing. So we went 2 years living here without having any idea that we were supposed to be filing a local tax. So when we bought our house, we decided
Nice.
that we were going to go get our taxes done instead because we thought, hey, maybe we can have like a write-off or something and it'll be better for our taxes. And she goes, so I see here, you guys filed this and that. She's like, I don't see any local tax files for your here. And I literally looked at this woman and I go, what the fuck is a local tax? Like, what do you mean?
It's when you slip her 100 to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah.
It's not like we didn't know what it was, but in New Jersey, it automatically files it for you through the state. When you do your state taxes.
No, but it's different because in New Jersey you have state and federal taxes. In Pennsylvania you have state, federal, and
local.
local
So
taxes.
we actually didn't have like on your paycheck in
Mhm.
PA, it'll tell you like the town that you live in or the town that you work out of.
Yeah.
It takes a municipality tax. That didn't happen in Jersey.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you work, you pay this one. Like, you pay for Schmedschmill. Not.
No, I pay for Horseham.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
No. You pay for the one you live in.
Okay, remember that 3-letter company we said we were
Yeah.
going to talk about? For them, I paid for that
Yeah,
one.
well, they're schmarted.
I like this code word that we're doing here.
I'm just saying, that's not right.
Which is probably why I owed so much freaking taxes.
I need to get you guys a thesaurus.
It for sure is.
So you mean a short?
Yeah, no.
You're onto
Schmo I
something.
was screwing.
Why is
rats.
Why is everything rhyming with an S right now? Even when it's not the normal rhyme.
It's way more fun than Pig Latin, which I never learned. I was so mad. Everybody would talk to me, and I'm just sitting like a dumbass, like, yeah, whatever. I couldn't figure it out.
I can. I used to know it.
Congrats. You want a sticker, a cookie, or parade? Like,
Here's your award.
Thanks.
hip, hip, hooray.
I think that we should. I think what I really want to do is go on like Amazon and just buy a whole collection of like 100 really tiny awards, like something that's so microscopically small that when people do things that piss me off, I'll just
Give
start
a
handing
sticker.
them out to them.
I think it's a sticker. Makes wood. It just hits way
A sticker would
harder.
probably be really good. What would it say if you were going to give it to somebody?
Nice job,
Congratulations,
asshole.
dickhead.
Yeah. Just smack him with it
just
right
put it
there.
right on there.
Yeah.
Like the who's the cart guy, the cart narc or whatever that would like. This was something. It was on 92.5 radio station. There was a guy that worked for them.
Dude,
that,
I work on the radio. I listen to the radio.
he was called the cart narc or something. His whole spiel was that he would go around and people that didn't put their cart back at the cart carousel, he would get really pissed off. So like he would fuck with them. So he'd go around, like let's say they put it in the parking spot next to him. He would go over and he'd take the cart and he'd put it behind their car
Nice.
and like walk away. And then they would like start a confrontation. And then he would like put a sticker on their car
Mhm.
or like
Oh,
a
nice.
magnet that would say like something
Cart narc.
stupid, like cart hero or something stupid, and people would get really pissed off, and he was getting like threatened multiple times. So I think that's why he stopped doing it. But I just thought it was the funniest thing because without fail, you always see that person like going shopping, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden they just don't put their cart back. It takes like 5 extra seconds.
They're horrible. When you put your cart back,
Oh, I absolutely put my cart back.
there
Does it
was
take me 10 extra seconds to go do?
there's studies, and you can like this is actually it's not me talking on my ass. You can look it up on the internet. But that's one of the easiest way to tell like a good person or not is why they put the cart back because there's absolutely nothing in it for you except for helping out the common man.
Do you want to know why I put
It
carts back?
shows the ability to self-govern.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why I put carts back? I put carts back because when I was in high school, I had a job at Lowe's Home Improvement, and I was a cart bitch, and I was pushing carts around all day. So from that point forward, when you see that asshole that makes eye contact with you and puts his cart right on the fucking grass in the median and then walks away, I'm like, you son of a bitch, I'm 3 feet from you. Just like push the cart or something.
Yeah.
That's when I decided internally that I would never not put a cart back.
I think it should be like there's other countries where there's a law that you have to serve like a year in the military. I think that's a little bit far, but I do think everybody should have to work in a
Be a cart
restaurant
boy.
and in retail.
Yeah.
It makes you a good person, and everybody like all the Karens and stuff that you see on the internet. There is
It would
100%.
disappear.
There's no way they did it because as soon
Yeah.
as you do, you feel so bad for the people who are doing it. You'll never screw them over again. Like you'll tip well. You won't do substitutions on the menu. You put your carts back. Like everyone has to work retail and food.
You brought up Karens. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the male version of a Karen? Is it
Um,
Ken?
No.
No, I know a lot of good Kens.
Is it a Carl? Is
No.
it a Keith?
Could be a Keith. Carl's a pretty down-home, regular guy.
I don't think there is an equivalent.
There
Because
mean-
men
one.
don't
No,
act like
there is.
that.
I don't think there's a name. Because when I think of a Karen, I think of like the Jamie Lee Curtis haircut with like her hands on her hips, like wondering why Braden isn't starting.
I feel like okay, so
What does the male
that's
Karen
the
look like,
dad, that's like the sports dad that's like, oh, why isn't my kid playing?
Yeah, like those people exist. It's just there's not a unanimous name for them the way they're.
I think it's much more scarce. Is the
It is a
problem.
Ken.
A Ken.
But I just feel
There's
like
a lot of
that's
good
not,
Kens. Like I know good
that's
people
not
who are
good.
Kens.
I think of Barbie in that
What?
case.
Barbie and Ken.
Oh, I mean, I guess.
Well, I don't know what the correlation would be for Karen. It doesn't really work.
Karen
I'm trying to think of like.
and Phil. That's my grandpa's name. I shouldn't do that.
God damn it, Phil.
I'm trying to think of a name that I like. Like when I was used to work at a restaurant, that I look at the receipt if someone was like being a dick and like makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of that male name where it's like, ugh.
Oh, there was a guy when I worked in a restaurant. I mean, I'm not going to say his actual name, but on his credit card,
Donald?
he was a
Maybe
third.
Donald.
He was like
Oh, the third.
a Donald Duck the third.
I mean,
guy.
you know of the third.
Yes, I do, but he's not like that. This guy was like your average the third. Like he flunks.
Being unoriginal.
Yeah.
That his parents
always
don't have a
thought-
thesaurus.
I always thought Junior was an interesting situation to begin with.
That's
like
that's
it's like you're already producing somebody that's ultimately,
You.
your clone.
now you need credit.
Now
for
you
it,
do,
too.
right? Yeah. You're
That's just
you're
selfish.
robbing that person of anything that makes them then from the moment they come out.
That's like LeBron's son, LeBron Jr., who goes by Bronny. When he went to high school, he was like, "Look, I want to earn it. Like, I don't want to be known as like anything other than like myself. I want to build myself up."
Yeah.
And somebody had to tell the poor guy, like, "Dude, your
Sorry.
name's LeBron James Jr. You're not original.
Yeah.
Like
no
nothing
kidding.
you do. I'm sure he's a fine kid. Nothing you do is going to be because of you.
Yeah. Don't go into basketball. That's all I'm saying.
He's
You're gonna let a lot of
he's a
people
high level
down.
basketball recruit.
You're probably gonna let people down at some point.
There's not a Michael Jordan Jr. running around. Does he have kids?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I don't know. You want to look that up? I don't know anything about basketball at all.
I feel like most NBA teams in the 80s are technically his son. But I don't know if he has any biological kids.
Maybe he does. He just doesn't know them.
Also could be. He was no
Who
straight.
does?
Really? Is it Michael Jordan Jr.?
Nope. There's a Marcus, a Jeffrey Michael, and a Jasmine.
I did Jeffrey.
Good for
I didn't
him.
know. Damn it. I should have remembered that. Marcus.
Good for
If
him.
you have Marcus, just do it. Just go Michael. You're already there.
He's actually a junior. His father's name is Michael.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why he stopped it because he realized
He didn't want to have
was
the
ridiculous.
third.
Do you guys want to know what his mom's?
Nora.
Karen.
Oh no, his wife. I lied.
They were very different people. Ideally. He is from North Carolina.
You would hope
His
so.
wife's name is Juanita.
One more time?
Juanita.
Oh.
It's actually his first wife. He has he got remarried in 2013.
Wow, that's late.
To a young lady.
Oh, of course he did.
She's 44.
No, that's not okay. It's not like
well,
Leonardo.
she's 34 now, but was she?
He's 60.
That's still not awful.
And-
That's not Leonardo DiCaprio bad. I mean, he's outside your local high school, just waiting.
Hey, that is fine by me. I work at a high school.
Oh, we
Not for
found-
long. Somebody better edit that out. I know it's
Gosh.
prowling.
I work at a high school. I just want to see reality.
Dating one of your students.
Every young girl's dream.
No, dating me.
And the truth comes
Sorry,
out.
Brandon.
I'm all right with that, as long as he pays.
Didn't
our
we already
rent.
have this conversation? I didn't think you weighed in on the celebrity crush.
And it wasn't
Thanks.
Leo.
Oh,
I'm telling him.
That's fine with me. As long as he pays my rent, I can get down with
Didn't we
that.
just have that conversation recently?
You and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were out somewhere and we were talking about
We were going to BJ's. We passed the elderly home, and Chris was pissing me off on. I don't know. I was really agitated on the drive over to BJ's, so I had made a comment. I said, "Why don't you just drop me off at the elderly home?" I said, "I'm sure there's somebody with a lot of money in their bank account who needs some company."
Dude, they be fucking in that elderly.
I know.
That is like the highest concentration of STDs. Is
I
what
know.
I'm
I'm sure there is. Yeah, but they also probably have like ancient STDs. It's like the clap is common in those homes.
The Black Plague's going around.
Going around. Except they. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to go there. That joke was too much for this.
Okay, fair enough. We already got censored once. I'd rather not do it again.
But don't worry, because diabetes is the new STD apparently of also elderly homes.
I'm sure.
It's so freaking common. Everybody's got it.
I mean, everybody. I mean, I think you could say that about America. Everybody's huge.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
have you been to the Jersey Shore?
Yes.
Like, everybody there either has diabetes or is on dialysis. It's like 100%.
No, that's Florida.
Also
Stock
not
is really up on those beach accessible wheelchairs with like the big wheels.
with the big balloons.
Stocks are real high on that one and climbing.
Put me out of my misery. If you have to roll me onto the beach,
I don't think if you need a special wheelchair to go on the beach. All right, that doesn't really work. I was going to
Leave
say
me.
you shouldn't be on the beach, but that doesn't really work for people that like don't have legs or something. If you're incapable of walking but you have two legs, then don't go to the beach.
Unless you're paralyzed. Unless you're like a quadriplegic.
In Chris's perfect beach, it's just wheelchairs lined up along the coast.
Oh god! You ever just like dig in and you just like keep going?
Yeah.
Instead of going the other way.
Yes, multiple times on this very podcast. The French
Oh,
come
gosh.
to mind,
Yeah.
but yeah, that I'm gonna jump off of that topic because it's only going downhill from there.
If you, I don't know if we had this conversation. We'll make this one quick. If you had to either lose one leg or one arm, which one would you pick?
Arm.
Arm.
I can get by with my left arm's useless anyway. I'm holding a drink with it. My left arm is
Reevaluate that.
my left arm's mostly useless anyway. I could get by with just my right, for sure.
Legs gone for me in a heartbeat.
Like,
But in your own scenario, you would have just sent yourself out to pasture.
That's okay. That's fine. I don't like the beach anyway.
Then we
I don't like the beach anyway.
The beach sucks. It's hot as shit. You get really warm, and then you go into some salty ass water where there's some fucking like needle floating around at the Jersey Shore. At least, I don't want any part of it. I'd rather go in a lake. And at that point,
there's
I
a
can
great-
still. By the way, I can still go in the water with one leg. I just might not do so well.
Not in the ocean.
Why not?
A wave's gonna kick your ass.
That's what life jackets are for.
In the ocean, you're gonna be a nerd.
Why do they put life jackets on people on boats
You're not
if it
gonna
doesn't work?
You're not getting any ass if you're in the ocean in a life jacket. Let's put floaties on.
I'm married. I don't need any extra ass.
Not in that scenario with one leg, I don't think.
I don't know. I'll put fucking swimmies on at the beach. I don't care.
wait, didn't
You might as well put a virgin sticker on your back.
Yeah.
What are they actually called? They're called
Some
swimmies.
people call them like floaties.
No,
Neither
they're
one's
swimmies.
cooler.
No, didn't he tell you that wheelchair has little floaties on it? He gets rolled right.
He's out there just bobbing
If
along.
I was missing a leg, I would have two floaties on each arm and then one floaty on the other leg, and then I would like
You would-
just split them
you
around.
would tip over.
I'm very buoyant. Okay,
your little stump would just like
I would use it as a propeller to like get me going.
You're just whipping it around.
I don't know if you can do that.
Well, they have all these prosthetic attachments now. Maybe one of them is
You're gonna
a
get a propeller attachment.
Honda powered. It's an outboard motor. I have an outboard motor attached to my nub.
You got a little trolling motor you just kick on. We have to register you with the Coast Guard.
Does that mean that I need my boating license?
Yes. The HMS Winder.
Oh,
Would
God.
you have like a steering device on the
Yeah, it's called the
You
my
would, but you wouldn't like what it is. It's
I
like a joystick.
actually have a joke for you guys that goes
Oh,
along
gosh.
with exactly what we're talking about.
Better be good. You just killed a
Does
pretty good ref.
Does it have to do with people that have lost limbs? Because we're clearly on a
I
roll
feel
with
like I
that
know
one.
this.
You can't.
Is it the Eileen one or IHOP?
No.
Oh, they're both
What
really
do
good.
What do you call
I don't feel bad about drinking more of this, by the way, because it was $11.
What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs floating in the ocean?
Oh, I've seen this. A buoy? I don't know.
Bob.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Wah, wah, wah.
Damn it. He's bobbing.
Yeah.
Whatever, Brandon.
I mean, it had its moment.
You thought it was gonna be something about IHOP.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
just-
called it a buoy.
Yeah, it's where does a waitress one leg work? IHOP. Or what do you call a one-legged waitress? Eileen.
Oh God.
I'm gonna stop now.
You're at 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's all for this week and half of next week. If you think we're doing extra content, you're wrong. This is half of the next episode,
I'm
folks.
glad that the last 5 minutes of that was the best part of it.
You really
It was,
don't
and
want to
nobody saw it because they didn't make it that far. But we had a good time, and that's what
Yeah,
matters.
that's what matters.
We'll see you next episode. Might be next week. Might be the week following with Spencer from Fireside Nets. This has been the Whiskey Gingers podcast.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Fuck Jeff.
That was way too soon.
Thank you.
It's premature, as they would say.